Boom, we're live. And on today's training, I'm going to be showing you how to sign e-com clients without any results from anywhere in the world, how to sign e-com clients for your agency without having any results just yet for your agency. It's going to be an incredibly juicy training. I'm going to wait for, actually, I'm not going to wait. I'm going to get straight into it. I've prepared a little document for you guys to take away as much value as possible from this presentation to make sure that you actually walk away with tangible stuff, right? So many times you watch a live free training and there's not enough tangible value, right? And you're like, shit, I just wasted 20 minutes, 30 minutes of my life. But my commitment to you is in this live training, you're going to walk away with actionable, tangible advice and action steps that you can go ahead implement immediately to get insane results with your agency. That is my commitment to you. So without further ado, let's go right into it. Now, if you've been following me for a while, I've got a new look. My girlfriend gifted me these glasses. No, I have not. Even though these probably increase my IQ by 20 points, I don't look so much like a college dropout punk anymore. But we're gonna get right into it. So I do want your feedback, however. Would you like this style of presentation where it's more dynamic, or would you like me to share the document like this? I think this is probably going to be a bit more dynamic. Sound is not audible. Give me a 1 in the comments if sound is good. Let me see. Camera, mic, audio. Okay.
Should be good now. Should be good now. There we go. Are we good? 1 1 1. Okay, cool. Audio is good. Okay, if you're watching the replay, then probably skip to around minute 2 or 3. I am a bit annoyed sometimes when I with these intros, but I think we're good. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Yeah, so I was plugged into my AirPods, which were these. Now we're good. Okay, I'm gonna double check again. So this is it. Give me a 1 if you can see the document on screen that I've put together for you. As you guys can see, 9 minutes ago, I haven't just taken this from another video or another training. Give me a 1 if you guys can see that. I just want to make sure we've got everything in place so I don't waste your time, I don't waste my time creating a training that's like poor in quality. Okay, 1, good. All right, awesome. Let's get into it. Boom. How to sign e-com clients without any results for your agency. In this brief training, we're going to cover the fundamentals of what you need to know when signing clients without any results. Look, this is not going to be some theory stuff. These are battle-tested, proven things, right? That I've actually seen from implementing things and battle testing things, and actually still to this, they run not only running my agency, but actually starting my own e-com brands, right? So not only am I serving the brands in the e-com space, but I'm actually in that space myself, right? And I'm approached by agencies. I'm approached by people wanting to start their agency. I've run my agency for over 3 years at this point, and I know what works, and I know what the market resonates with, and I know what the market reacts to and how they react to different things. Okay, so it's not going to be some theory stuff. I'm not going to be telling you, oh, just use your contractor's case studies. No, it's not going to be that sort of training. It's going to be real actionable battle tested stuff. Okay, so I want to make it as brief as possible as well. Okay, the value of training and the value of information is how fast can you consume it and how quick can you get the result, right? Before we get into it, you need to understand these 2 things. Okay, before we get into it, you need to understand these 2 things right here. If you don't get these right now, then the remaining of the training and the remaining of the impact of these little value points is not going to be as much. Okay, so the first thing is it can be done. In fact, the vast majority of people starting an agency don't have any previous results to start with. Okay, so that's really especially for those of you who haven't started your agency, right? And you're asking all these what if questions. What if they ask for case studies? What if I don't have any results? Can I sign clients? The answer is yes. The simple answer is yes, because I did, my students have done as well, right? And the key to understand, the key thing you need to understand is that it is possible. It's actually way more probable, and it's actually in the vast majority of cases, most people are starting the agency don't have any previous results. I'm speaking from my personal experience as well as my students. So that's the first thing you need to understand. The second thing is, oftentimes when this whole topic of do you have any case studies comes up, it's actually a symptom of a bad sales call. All right. It's actually a symptom of a bad sales call. In most cases, we're not in my calls, right? And I'll talk about this later. It's funny. It's ironic, right? Because once you have all the case studies in the world, this question is not even coming up, right? And sure, some of the people that book in calls with me, they've seen some of my results, right? But even for the clients who haven't seen any results from me, right? That question still doesn't come up. Why? Because the truth is, the truth is, when you have a solid sales process, when you have a clear process to results, which I'll talk about in just a bit, and when you have conviction in your delivery, your tonality, your body language shows confidence, this question doesn't actually come up, right? It's actually funny, right? It's actually funny, and you probably laugh when I tell you at the, in one of the last points of this presentation and this training, that clients don't actually care too much about the actual results and the case studies that they're asking for. Is more of them, it's more for it's more a way for them to rationalize their decision, right? And so they don't actually care about the content too much of that case study. It's just to see your reaction on how you handle that question, and also for them to be able to rationalize their decision of working with you. Okay, so it's not so much the content of that case study, but all of this behind it. Okay, that's actually important, and it's incredibly important to understand this, because otherwise you're gonna answer this question the wrong way, and it's gonna cost you a lot of clients. It's gonna cost you a lot of just a lot of growth for your agency. Okay, so this information took me a while to understand. It took me a lot of sales calls, but I can assure you it works. So there's gonna be two sections in this training. Okay, there's going to be two sections in this training. The first one is how to avoid it before it even comes up. Okay, and the second one is what to do about it when it comes up. Prevention is the best way to deal with things, right? So I actually like to prevent things before they even come up, and that's the way you should act in business, right? You shouldn't be reacting all the time. You should work to prevent things from coming up, prevent problems from coming up, so you don't have to deal with them. That's a much better way of going about business, right? Right. How to avoid it before it even comes up. The first one is you need to understand the power of a sub niche. And I've talked about this extensively on my YouTube channel and on my content, right? But this is the power of a sub niche applied to this question specifically. You need to understand when most prospects ask for results, is a sign that they want to rationalize that you're an authority in the space, right? At the end of the day, if we dig a little bit deeper into the meaning of a case study, is to verify, right? Is to verify whether you're an authority in the space. I'm sure we can all agree on that, right? What you also need to understand that most people get wrong is that the vast majority of clients don't care much about the intricacies of ads and media buying. Will you, will you believe this, right? Will you believe that they don't actually care too much about the intricacies of ads and media buying? And the reason why that is simple human psychology. What do people love talking about? Things they don't know anything about or very little about and find difficult and complicated and complex, or things that they are passionate about, things they know a lot about, things that they do on a daily basis. Give me a 2 if it's the last one. Give me a 1 if you think is the first one. If you wrote a 2, you're probably right. Okay, because what they care more, what they know more about is their niche. Right? If your sub niche is vegan brands, right? They know more about the vegan space, their customers, right? They know more about vegan products and the whole vegan movement than they do about media buying, right? This is even the case if you're talking to a CMO, right? Even the marketing department, right? Because I'm sure one of you has the objection of like, what if I'm talking to the marketing department? Oftentimes, if they're talking to you, if the marketing department is talking to you, they know more about their niche than ads and media buying. Otherwise, they wouldn't be having that call, right? They may know quite a bit about marketing, but they may not know media buying, and specifically Facebook ads, Google ads, whatever you're doing, right? So knowing that, when you specialize in a specific sub niche, your biggest leverage is actually not your understanding of ads and media buying. Your biggest leverage is your obsession and understanding of that specific sub niche. Not so much your insane expertise of ads and media buying. Let that sink in, okay? Because this will make a lot of sense when I make the next point. Your biggest leverage when closing that deal is your obsession and understanding. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger because I want to really make sure you guys get this point. Your biggest leverage is your obsession and understanding of that sub niche, not so much your insane expertise of ads and media buying. That leverage is much stronger than being great at media buying, because there's many more experts at media buying than experts or vegan ecom brand experts in the space, in the market, right? How many vegan ecom brand growth hackers do you know versus how many experts do you know at media buying? They cannot compete, right? Someone who comes into this call and doesn't really know much about that specific sub niche, doesn't really know much about the competitors in the vegan space, doesn't really know much about what flies, what offers fly, what marketing message and what marketing content flies in the vegan space. They come into that call and they can know a lot more about you at media buying. They're going to go with you, right? They're going to go with the person that knows a lot more about the vegan space because they're going to connect with that person a lot more. It's this thing called in-group, out-group bias. We tend to favor the people who are in our tribe, who share similar traits, similar characteristics, right? And so being that they don't know much about ads and media buying themselves, right? You can almost leverage the playing, level the playing field. I'm not saying you should know as little as them, right? Obviously, you're going to know a lot more. If you're watching this, you know a lot more than any vegan founder or any niche ecom founder in most cases, right? But they're going to resonate with you a lot more because your understanding of that specific sub niche is way higher. Okay. And so in order to make sure that it doesn't even come up, if you've got your understanding of the sub niche dialed in, and it is just you can connect with them on that level, this question is not even going to come up because the case study doesn't have as much leverage as your understanding of the of that specific sub niche does, right? And so it is pretty much redundant. It is pointless. There's no need to prove your understanding of ads or media buying because the thing they care about most is your understanding of their specific sub niche. And I'm sure a lot of you are thinking, well, that's not the case. Yet I see it time and time again. I run one-to-one calls with my students where I speak to them one-to-one. One of my students, Yodas, maybe watching this, he can verify on the comments. One of my students, Yodas, he specialized in the art space, right? And he was telling me about how he connected so much with this founder, right? Because they both share an interest or an understanding. You don't have to be passionate about your sub niche, but an understanding, a very good understanding of the art space and what it takes to sell someone in that space, right? And so that call, the guy didn't ask for case studies. Keep in mind, Yoldas doesn't have any case studies, right? And I'm not butchering you, Yoldas, but you don't have any case studies. You don't have any results just yet, right? Yet you're able to connect in a much deeper level with that founder simply with the power of a sub niche and simply by understanding your sub niche better than anyone in the space, because that's always going to give you a bigger leverage. So that's really the first thing, okay? Now, before I get into the next point, I'm going to make sure that we're all good. Okay, cool. Perfect. So I'm going to go back to it. All right. So the second thing is getting better at sales. And I'll talk about what that means in just a second, right? Because I don't like empty sentences and empty words. But I mentioned this just now. It's ironic. Once you have all the case studies in the world, this question never comes up. Why do you think that is, right? Coming from someone who's built their agency past the 200K per month mark, right? This question doesn't really come up, right? Even I'm telling you, even from the clients who haven't seen many of my results, maybe they came from they came from one of our outbound messages, right? Organically or from our automations, right? Keep in mind, they haven't seen any of my results and they hop on a sales call with me. And this question doesn't come up. Why? Because my understanding of the space overall and my sales skills do not make space for this type of question to come up. Why? Because at the end of the day, as I mentioned, and I'll talk about it in just a second, right at the end of the training, this question is more for them to rationalize their decision, and it is actually a shit test. And I'll talk about the concept of a shit test, okay, in just a second. But that's the first thing, the first thing you need to understand about sales, the fact that this question doesn't actually come up when you have all the case studies in the world and you could brag about them for days on end. It doesn't actually come up. Why? Because your delivery on this call is stellar. and your process to results speak for themselves. So delivery, I mean sales, right? So me on a sales call, my tonality, my body language, my essentially everything that makes for a good sales call, right? My objection handling, my essentially my way of keeping them on track, right? My way of keeping them on a straight path to the sale is stellar, right? I'm using what I call my subtle flex approach, and my mentees will know what I mean by that, right? Where I not only just ask questions like most people do on a sales call, right? I'm actually not only asking the questions, but following up with my understanding of value, which proves to them, this person actually knows what they're talking about. But the second thing is understanding you need to have a process to results, especially if you're just a beginner, right? And you're getting started in the space. Maybe you have 0 clients, maybe you have 1, 2, 3 clients, right? You need this to scale. Let's talk about that. What is a clear process to results? At the end of the day, more effective than cherry picking results for a random brand like most agencies do, I've seen that sharing with prospects a clear process to results and a personalized plan of attack has been a bigger impact than not having a clear personalized plan of attack and showing a ton of different case studies. So what I want to do with this training is also break a lot of limiting beliefs and a lot of things that are thrown around in the space that are just not true when you go to market and you test them. Okay, so a lot of people think that showing a random case study, for example, let's just say you're talking to a tech brand, right, in the e-com space, and you go and they go ahead and they ask for a case study, right, and you go ahead and you show them a case study from like this nutrition brand, right, from like 2 years ago, and they're selling a complete different thing, and they're doing Facebook ads and you're offering them Google ads, right? Imagine that. And the funny thing is, like, that maybe not to that extreme because I'm exaggerating, but this happens a lot, right? Like most agencies have like this one case study that they've been using for 2 years, right? And in most cases, it has nothing to do with the prospect they're speaking to. Like it's not personalized at all. And so that case study, because the case study isn't so much about the context, right? And the content of that case study, and because it's not personalized at all, it just lands very flat, right? And so what I've seen have a much bigger impact is when you can, on the call, you can show them a clear process to result and a personalized plan of attack that is actually personalized to that brand, right? So you can show them how exactly you're going to get the result that you're talking about, your big, bold offer. You show them exactly how to get the result, right? And then it's actually personalized to them, right? Not only that, but as you're showing them, as you're walking them through the personalized plan of attack, you show them a direct competitor implementing a similar approach, not your competitor, not a brand that you're using, right? Again, I'm showing you how to sign clients without any results. You actually show them as you're walking them through the pros to results, right? The big bold offer is, I don't know, I hope you scale to 7 figures, right? In 180 days. Okay. That is your bold offer. Example. You show them a clear pros to results. The first 7 days, we do this, this, and that, right? The next 30 days, we do this and this and that. The next 90 days, we do this and this and that. Okay. The next 90 days or 180 days, we do this and this and that. And then, if this happens, we do this. And if this happens, we do this, right? You show them this. And then it's actually personalized to them, right? So we use this specific offer that I've gathered from also doing research on you. I think this would be the best offer for you. I think using this type of content would be great for you. I think we could change up your messaging here. I think we could actually tweak your landing page a little bit here. And you do this and you have a personalized approach. But not only that, as you're going through this, you actually show them a direct competitor of theirs implementing a similar approach. Maybe you're talking about how in the first 7 days you pick this type of creatives, and then you show them a direct competitor implementing those creatives. That's going to be way more impactful, and it's going to have a much bigger impact than just showing them a washed out, 2-year old case study, right? So keep that in mind. The fact that it just doesn't make sense to this whole notion of like case studies are king. No, not at all, right? Even if you have case studies, they tend, they actually tend to not come up. And not only that, but when you can show them a clear process to results is personalized, and then you use, if you want, competitor examples of that, when you're going through this, that's going to be much more effective. I'll give you a little example, right? If you don't trust what I'm saying right now, I'll give you a little example of, as I talked about, not only do I run my agency actively still to this day, not only do I show people how to scale their agency past the 10K month mark, not only am I an e-com brand myself, so I mean the client side of things as well. Okay, so I've got an e-com brand that does 6 figures in per month, and I've shown that on my YouTube channel. Not only that, right? But and so the reason why I say that is because I want to show you, right? Someone pitching me an example of someone pitching me, right? Especially for my personal brand, this happens, okay? And I'm gonna share with you why this approach is actually much more effective. And I hadn't even become conscious of it until I thought about it, right? And it's just the truth. So a lot of people approach me, right? Whether it's, I'm talking particularly about personal branding, right? But a lot of people approach me when it comes to my personal brand, and they offer editing services. They offer SEO titles for my YouTube videos. They offer, copywriting for emails. They offer whatever it is, right? And oftentimes what these people do is they go ahead and send me case studies of other people that've done it too, right? And I'm not denying that I'd rather, those case studies are somewhat of value, right? I tend to not read them at all because I just don't have the time. However, right, when someone actually takes the time to personalize a strategy for me with their outreach, that outreach is much more effective on me, right? So if I analyze myself, I find myself that, I find that what I just mentioned also applies to when people reach out to me, right? The reason why I hired the video editor that I hired is not because the video editor sent me a bunch of examples of videos they had done in the past for other clients, right? But it's because my video editor actually took a video of mine and edited and made it better, right? So it had both a clear approach to results. So he shared essentially his approach to results to getting my videos edited, right? He sent me a personalized video, right? So there was a personalized component. He sent me a personalized video, or he had taken a video of mine and he had already gone the extra mile of making it better, right? So taking an example of mine, and then not only that, but he had a few case studies to back it up with, right? But the whole personalization is what sold me on him, right? And I'm using that as an example to show you that this applies. And you're probably going, that makes sense. Especially if you have like a personal brand or you have any other type of business where you've been sold to, this always applies. The fact that when it's personalized, you care a lot more about the fact that they personalized it for you than whatever they've done for other people in the past. I'm not saying the other, a case study from like 2 years ago doesn't have value. I'm just I'm just comparing the two. Makes sense? So I'm not saying one doesn't have value. I'm not just casting stones and completely ignoring the other alternative. I'm just saying this one right here, the personalized clear approach to results approach with a example of a competitor implementing what you just told them about, has a much bigger impact. All right. So that is that for how to make sure it doesn't even come up, right? So the power of a sub niche and getting better at sales and a clear approach to results. What to do when it does come up. Before I get into it, I'm going to check the chat real quick. Okay. Other view, please. Do you guys like this view better? I just want to. Is this better? Because then I cannot highlight. I don't know. I feel like it's not as fun. The code. What's up, dude? Wait, yeah, guys, just give me a real quick heads up. This view or this view right here. Okay. Yes, better. Which one? This one. Okay, whatever. I'm gonna continue. But if you're enjoying this so far, make sure to drop a like. Okay, make sure to drop a like if you are on YouTube. Make sure to drop a like if you are on Facebook as well. Okay, so I think the key is to basically do this, but I'm gonna zoom it in for you guys. 200, even 210. I'm pretty green when it comes to. I can't do 210. I'm pretty green when it comes to these trainings, these live trainings, guys. I think this is going to be better. Okay. Anyways, I don't want to waste your time because this is all about making sure that our time together is actionable, impactful as well. But let's get let's get back into it. So for the other bit of the training, what to do when it does come up. We've talked about how to actually avoid this from coming up, which I'm a big fan of, right? I'd like to prevent things from coming up so I don't have to deal with it. But if it does come up, you need to meet the question head on and pass the shit test. Okay, this is a very funny concept I talk about in my mentorship as well extensively. But it's just so true, right? And a lot of people, when I mention this concept of the shit test, they're like, "What are you talking about?" Right? And part of my language, guys, but I want to make sure that it is, it's a bit shocking. It has that shock value so that you guys can really remember this, right? Like I want this to be memorable, so you guys remember this. Because if I were to just say like the random test or some other test, it wouldn't be as impactful, and you wouldn't remember it as well. But the case study question is a shit test. What do I mean by that? Okay. What do I mean by that? More than anything, this question is a shit test. The vast majority of prospects won't even look. Okay, I think this is better. The vast majority of prospects won't even look at the case study if you send it. So you must meet the question head on and answer straight away with confidence. The initial reaction is what they care most about, because most agency owners, when the question appears, when the question comes up, by the way, you're done pitching, right? And you passionately talked about your offer. Maybe you even pitched the price, right? And then this question comes up. They just go ahead and they shit themselves, and they go, their face just goes pale, right? And they look like they're about to puke, right? Because at that point, they're like, oh shit, I've lost the sale, right? Everything is lost here. And I'm going to show you how to pass the shit test, okay? So to recap, what they're looking for is the initial reaction. A lot of prospects, they do this. And I know this because I've seen this happen time and time again. And my students have also told me, like, yes, it was completely a shit test, and I did what you told me, and I avoided the shit test. I passed the shit test, and it was all good, right? And I didn't lose the sale because of this, right? And so when they ask this question, they're just looking for your initial reaction. Okay, they're just looking for their initial reaction, because when most prospects ask this, do you have any case studies? It is so obvious that you don't. It is so obvious that you don't believe in your ability to serve them and to get incredible results for them, because of just the way you react to that question. And you want it's incredibly important. It's incredibly important for you to rewatch your sales goals, because you won't actually believe just how dumb and shit scared you look until you rewatch back. And I'm being harsh with my feedback because I was at that stage myself once, but you won't believe just how incredibly scared you look until you watch yourself back. And that is why I call it the shit test, okay? Because most agency owners shit themselves and they go pale, okay? And so what you want to do is you want to make sure that you straight ahead, you answer 100%. Would you like me to walk them through? Would you like me to walk through them, right? Would you like me to show them to you right now? Would you like to see them? Sure. Would you like to see them? Of course. Would you like me to share with you my case studies and actually walk you through them and show you how I'm getting, how I've got a clearly dialed in process to results? Do you want me to show you them, right? That is the sort of confidence, and that wasn't the best, right? Because it's live and all this stuff, but that is the sort of confidence that you want to show when they ask this question, because that is the number one thing. The most important thing they care about is your initial reaction to the question, because most people just completely mess up. And after they messed up, anything that you say after that is just worthless, right? And so they shit themselves, they go pale, and they go, no, I don't, right? That's what happens in most cases, okay? So I'm going to show you. So it's incredibly important that you meet the question head on and you straight away answer with confidence. Sure. Do you want me to walk you through them? Okay, cool. Let's do it, right? So if they go, because oftentimes, right, just they'll see your reaction and they'll be like, oh no, that's completely fine. Just just wanted to know, because they only care about the reaction. But if they still want to see them, then you want to do this, right? So again, I'll repeat. Most people, if they see a reaction with confidence straight away, okay, they'll actually not really care about the case study, right? And so they'll basically say like, oh, that's completely fine. Yeah, it's cool. I think I want to move forward with this, or I need to speak to my founder about it, or whatever it is, right? And other objections may come up, but not the case study question, which is what we're dealing with here at today. If they still want to see this, however, you need to do this. Okay, so you need to cast stones on most case studies. The best way to increase perceived value of something is to cast stones at the alternative. So what I typically say is, look, most people are gonna go ahead and they're gonna go ahead and cherry pick a random campaign they did like 10 years ago, where they got a good result. We don't really do that around here, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and show you an updated example, okay, of a result that we're getting, right? We're in the trenches day in, day out for our clients. If you don't have clients, obviously don't say that, right? I think honesty is number one priority. You won't ever hear me say like, oh, like just fake your results or all this. I don't do that. You won't hear me ever say that, right? If you've heard that before, I typically I just don't personally subscribe to it, because I think when you lie, it just catches up to you and it builds this whole just shitstorm of shit going your way. But essentially, I say, look, not only do I want to show you updated results, but the actual strategy we achieve to get the results. Because really, is it of value to you if I just show you a bunch of cherry picked results? No, I want to show you the strategy behind these results. And so what I'm doing here, right? What I'm doing here is I'm actually decreasing weight and importance from the result itself, right? Because I know that I'm really good at talking about process results. Because what I'm not good at, and the only thing that I don't have, is the result itself, right? However, we do have the result, right? So we can leverage contractor case studies with their consent. We can leverage contractor case studies with their consent. So you can hire a contractor. You should hire a contractor to do your service delivery. So we can leverage their case studies with their consent, right? But we're actually going to focus mainly on the strategy. So we're going to show them the result, right? But we're going to focus more on the actual strategy, because in fact, that's actually going to be of more value to the client and more interesting to the client than just seeing a bunch of screenshots, right? A lot of people, maybe they say everything that I just talked about, which I really doubt. But if they do, they go ahead and show a screenshot of a bunch of results via email after the call. That's not really going to land well, right? Like, there's no context to it. You cannot express yourself. You cannot use that as a way of even showing more authority and showing more expertise, right? So why send that, right? So it's incredibly important that you not only say this, right? You not only leverage the contractor case studies, but you actually walk them through the case study on the call. It is completely vital that you do this. It is completely vital that you do this. I'll repeat. It is completely vital that you do this, okay? Do not just end the call and be like, yeah, just send it over, right? A lot of prospects will say, yeah, just go ahead and send it over, right? Just go ahead and send it over. Yeah, send the case study over. I'm going to be like, nah, I'm actually going to walk you through the case study on the call, right? Because then you can gain the full value of it, right? And you can see that we're actually walking the talk. So I'm going to show them, I'm going to share the case study on the call. I'm going to have a little presentation prepared with the actual strategy that the contractor used, that we, our agency, because they're under our team now, we used to get the specific result. And then at the very end, yes, proof of the result with a little screenshot with whatever you've got, right? That serves as proof. But it's incredibly vital that you do it on the call. And the final thing, as I said, you need to add context to the case study to reduce time real estate from the screenshots. What do I mean by that? Pardon. What do I mean by that? Time real estate, essentially, the percentage of time on a call, right? And so if you just have a screenshot, if you do show the screenshot on the call, good, right? But if you just show the screenshot and you just talk about the screenshot for like 10 minutes, meanwhile, you're not talking about the actual strategy. Meanwhile, you're not using that time to talk about maybe your team, right? To talk about, it's not going to be as effective, right? So I'm going to use that. I'm going to use the little objection that they gave me to my advantage to position myself in a better way than I was before they asked that question, right? I'm going to use that to my advantage, and I always flip the objection to actually be a strength, right? I'm going to use it to show more authority. I'm going to use it to show more expertise. I'm going to use it to ooze so much confidence, right? By answering straight away, right? So at the end of the call, I'm actually glad that they asked. Thank you, Mr. Prospect. Thank you that you asked for a case study that I thought I would just butcher, right? And I thought I would just shit myself over. Thank you. And I think that's a wrap. So let's bring it back. I think that is a wrap on the training. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you did. I love the cape paint in the back. So yeah, that is that for this training. Now, if you've enjoyed it, go ahead, smash the like button. If you want to hear more about the mentorship, then there's going to be a link right below the video where I go into, where you can jump on a call, see if you'd be a good fit for it. And yeah, that's it. If you're looking to take your e-com agency to the next level this year, School of Ecom is probably your team. But if you're not a good fit, or we're not a good fit for you, we'll let you know. No hard feelings. And with that being said, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Okay, I just got this question. I always pick on. There's a ton of great comments, so I appreciate it. But from where can we get the case studies, bro? Rewatch the training, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and actually take the next 2 to 3 minutes or so to answer questions or answer feedback. I love the core painting on the wall. Appreciate it. Full of value. Thank you, my man. K Grander Eres. That means you're a G. I appreciate it. This makes so much sense. Appreciate it. Haven't heard anyone anymore talk about this. Simple things that really matter. Appreciate that. This is more valuable than most full-length sales training. I appreciate that, my man. Just doing a little video story. All right. Is this going to be a YouTube video? I think so. Most likely, yeah. Many people, including myself, may be knowledgeable but don't understand how to build the confidence when actually talking to clients. Well, I talked about it. I mean, obviously, there's a bit more to it, right? There's only so much we can cover in this live training, and that's why I have the mentorship and I have that very personalized interaction with my students. But one of the things that I mentioned in the call is when you have a clear approach to results and you know a lot about your specific sub niche, that gives you an inherent confidence in yourself when going into the goals, because you're not relying anymore on something that you are not going to master within the next 3 or 4 years, which is media buying, right? There's, regardless of what people tell you, right? Even if you take the best damn course on the planet, right? When it comes to media buying, you have to actually run ads for clients to get good at it, right? And so obviously, if you're speaking about something that you can really only get good at by practicing, you're never going to be very confident in that, right? So what I would say is rewatch this training, right? And take notes on the approach to results and the power of the sub niche part, which I mentioned. I missed it, bro. You didn't give the YouTube pre-launch reminder. Yes, that is true. I didn't think I was going to upload this to YouTube, but I was like, look, I think this is going to be very, very valuable, and I might as well. But I may have this as a replay. We'd love to know the program price, dude. What I would recommend, simply because I want to keep this this related, what we just talked about related, just go ahead and there's going to be a link in the description where you can book a call with my team. Thoughts on money back guarantees and incentive-based pricing when closing ad clients? I think this is a really good topic that I talk about this extensively on mentorship, but I could probably give a little snippet in another live video. Let's see. Okay. So what I'm going to do for those of you watching this right now, what I'm going to do is I just came up with this, but because I invested the time, right, I'm asking for one little thing from you guys, right? So I'm going to be sending this document to everyone who goes ahead, posts on their story. So you got to be public. You have to have a public Instagram account for this, because so I can repost you. Goes ahead and repost on your story, right? Just take a picture of this right now, okay? And go ahead and tag me on IG. Okay, I'm going to be sending you a copy of the document that I just mentioned, that I just went through. Maybe I'll add a little final note for you. So all you got to do is just go ahead, take a picture of your screen or wherever you're watching this. Go ahead and do that. Go ahead and tag me, tag my IG, which is Jaime, my name all together. And one, it's in the comments. Go ahead and tag me, and I'll be sending you over via DM a copy of the document, okay? With a message of appreciation from me as well. So if you want to do that and give something back to me, then you can. So yeah, can we get the doc link? What you got to do is just go ahead, take a picture of this live training or of this live free training. Go ahead and tag me on IG. and you have to have a public IG account for this if you want to qualify, because otherwise I cannot repost you. I'll repost you and I'll send over the document via DM. So if you want to do that, you can get the doc link. Smile for the pic. There we go. Okay, and that's gonna be it, guys. I don't want to stretch this out for too long. I do have a sales call in actually a minute late for it, so I'm gonna hop on that. And as always, I appreciate you for coming on. I think we covered a lot of juicy topics. I think I made a commitment and I think I stuck to it. I think this was actionable. I think there wasn't any theory. I think this was a lot of going against what, preconceived things, right? And things that have been passed around the space that are just not true when you battle test it within the e-com space, at least, right? So thank you, great value. I appreciate you. And yeah, I will see you on the next one. The final thing I will say is, if you're on YouTube, if you're watching this on YouTube and you're not part of the free Facebook mastermind, I don't know what you're doing. Okay, there's going to be a link in the description where you can go ahead and you can apply. Okay, to it. There's going to be a bunch of questions. All you got to do is just answer them, and if you're a good fit, we'll let you in. It's completely for free, but I want to keep the tribe tight knit. I want to keep it value based, and I want to make sure that it's people that they're actually looking to grow and looking to take things up a whole new level. You're the best, Jaime Higuera. Appreciate you, my man. The Facebook, as you guys can see, the Facebook users, I cannot see your name, so I'd love to see your name, but I cannot. So yeah. All right. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.